Wolves, the team who sit at the bottom of the Premier League on just 2 points after 12 games, it's fair to say they've had a rather dreadful season. However, today I will be taking over as manager, see how well I can perform in just one season. This is going to be a one-season rebuild. Here we go. One thing to note to start with, at the budgets we have £30.5 million in the transfer budget and £100,000 available in the wage. However, I don't think I'm really going to make any signings probably till January to make it more fair, so we have the same team going in as Wolves did and see what differences we can make. After taking a proper look at the squad, there's a couple exciting players who could be a big difference to this club. Standout striker being Jorgen Strand Larsen, 6'4" with a good jumping reach and heading. He's one to look out for from the really utilised from the set pieces. Again with Arokader, who's 6'6", even better jumping reach of 18 and 15 heading. He's going to be playing as a target forward, hopefully trying to get some crosses in. A few other players to watch out for is Krejcik. He's on loan from Girona. He looks like the best centre-back of this club. Very good player, good pace, just really good physicals and mentals all round. Just a really solid centre-back. One thing this team has is an abundance of height, with Agbadu at the back, who's also 6'4". We have two star midfielders being Andre and João Gomez. And this is how I look to line up the squad for both in possession and out of possession. We look to be playing sort of a 5-back with two wing backs playing a lot higher up, two defensive midfielders, with then two strikers being supported by a channeling playmaker and a deep laying forward. The whole goal is to get balls up forwards and just get it on their heads to score some goals, while being defensively solid when we're out of possession, going to a flat 5-back, dropping back, very defensive with a high press. The main style of this play is counter-attacking, and that's how we're going to look to get most of the goals. I'm also going to set up set pieces where we're going to attack at their near post, trying with an in-swinger, try and get it on the head of Jorgen Strand Larsen or the other striker, I can't quite remember his name. Just before we get into things, looking at the season preview, we're predicted to finish 15th, with Burnley, Leeds and Sunderland, the three promoted teams, to be relegated. In real life, Wolverhampton Wanderers sit 20th with just 2 points, so as long as we beat that within 12 games and survive relegation, it's been a season of success. However, I really hope to be looking to push towards the top half of the table, maybe even the European spots. We head into the first game of the season against Manchester City. However, key players like Jorgen Strand Larsen are out injured, and same with Jon Arias. And here we go, the start of the Premier League commences. We're playing Manchester City at home, I do believe. Just before the break at half time, after an end-to-end match, Manchester City get Erling Haaland through and he's one-on-one versus the keeper and he scores. However, we managed to return with a goal, equalising the game 1-1 with Hwang Hee-chan scoring. In extra time, Manchester City looked to have scored the winner, but goal goes to VAR and it is disallowed due to him being offside. After a pretty even 1-1 draw against Manchester City at the start of the season, things looked up and I had high hopes. After a 1-1 draw against Manchester City at home, we have a disappointing 2-0 loss to Bournemouth away, with goals from Justin Kluivert and Evan Nilsson in the first half. However, in the next fixture against West Ham away, in just the 17th minute, João Gomez finds Andre. Andre now looking for something. Agbadu here with the ball. Andre finds a brilliant ball through to Bellegarde, one-on-one versus the keeper, and he slots it in the back of the net. We then face Everton at the Molineux, where Jack Grealish buries a penalty in the first 5 minutes of the game, putting us just 1-0 down. However, a corner from Totti finds Wolfe on the head to equalise the game. Just 2 minutes later, the goal scorer Wolfe finds himself out on this left-hand flank, finds the ability to whip it into Jorgen Strand Larsen, who can bury it bottom corner, putting us ahead. And in the 85th minute here, João Gomez has it on the edge of the box, finds Bellegarde, the first goal scorer, who finds the back of the net once again with a beautiful finish to seal the deal, and that wraps up a very successful first month of the Premier League with 2 wins against Everton, West Ham, a draw against Man City and a loss against Bournemouth. After just 3 games, we sit in 9th place on 4 points. After the great start came some terrible form in September with a 3-1 loss to Newcastle, a 4-1 loss to Brighton in the Carabao Cup, a 2-3 loss to Leeds United and a 2-0 loss to Tottenham Hotspur. We then bounced back against Brighton with a 4-3 win in the start of October, a 0-0 draw in Sunderland and a very disappointing 2-1 loss to Burnley. After 9 games played, we sit on 8 points in 15th position, just 2 points above the relegation zone. November brings some very difficult fixtures with Chelsea away and Aston Villa away. We then played Fulham on the 2nd of November where we lost 3-2 after being 2-0 up, a very disappointing result. However, after the disappointing loss to Fulham, we managed to scrape a 0-0 draw away against Chelsea. This is followed by a 1-0 win against Crystal Palace from an assist from Matt Doherty and a goal from John Arias. This was then followed by a match against Aston Villa where John McGinn whips it into Elliott's head and he gets an early goal. However, after conceding early against Aston Villa, we managed to pull 2 goals back to win 2-1. We sit in 14th after 13 games on 15 points. We now enter a difficult December facing Forest, Man United twice, Arsenal, Brentford and Liverpool. Points may be hard to pick up in this month. However, afterwards we enter January where we look to make signings, especially in goal, and maybe another forward to help provide a goal threat. December comes hard and fast with losing 4 games and only picking up 2 points with a draw against Brentford and Manchester United. We conceded way too many goals and only managed to score 3, one being against Brentford with Jorgen Strand Larsen. João Gomez picked up 1 against Liverpool and Bellegarde against United. After this very poor run of form, we sit 17th, just 2 points ahead of Burnley. So the first signing of January has commenced. Ronnie Edwards is coming on loan from Southampton, sort of as a backup player for that centre-back and defensive midfielder role. After a 2-0 loss to Everton, we sit in the relegation zone down on 17 points in 21 games played. This has really not gone how I'd expected it or how I'd wanted it. And here we go, the second signing of this season is Miranic. He's got his work permit, we're going to accept it here. Here we go, the replacement for Hugo Bueno has come in. Toro will be our new left back. He looks quite quality. I mean, yeah, really good physical stats as well. Quality striker En-Nesyri joins for £55 million. And finally, we win a game. A 3-1 win against Newcastle from behind pulls us out of the relegation zone into 17th place. Hopefully all these new signings are new positives spin and helping us push forward. There it is, our final signing in Juan Cuadrado, the ex-Juventus fullback, hoping to bring a lot of depth and experience at that right back position. After the 3-1 win against Newcastle, we went to Manchester City away and lost 8-2, a huge whipping. Hopefully we can bring things back on Bournemouth and turn things around for the rest of the season. After the disappointing 8-2 loss to Manchester City, we also lose 3-1 to Bournemouth at home, and things are not looking good. However, on a different matter, there was 5 transfers in and 9 transfers out. As you can see, the transfers out, not particularly anyone huge except Hugo Bueno for 9.25 million, Enzo Gonzalez for 2.8 million, and the signings in was Ronnie Edwards on loan, Alexi from Atalanta for about £13 million. Looks like a brilliant attacking midfielder, possibly can play striker if needed. Toro comes in from Quebec FC for the left wing back. He looks like a brilliant youngster who's going to provide a lot of depth and opportunities. Youssef En-Nesyri we bought for £55 million from Fenerbahce. He's a goal scorer and that's exactly what we need. Fits the common build of being 6'2" with good jumping reach and good heading. And last but not least was ex-Juventus star Juan Cuadrado, who looks brilliant on that right-hand side despite him being 37 years of age. After the dreadful spell in December and January, we sit in just 19th place on 20 points in 24 games. If we don't turn things around soon, things are going bad. The board also looks to be getting frustrated with us. If we don't turn things around soon, I may be getting the boot. Just as things were looking bad, we managed to pull a 3-1 home win against Chelsea with Agbadou scoring a first and En-Nesyri brace before conceding a late goal to João Pedro. A 3-1 win away against Forest and a 3-2 win away against Crystal Palace helped us pull out of the relegation zone all the way up into 15th. We now sit on 29 points in 27 games, only 1 point behind 12th. We also sit 4 points ahead of the relegation zone. However, disaster strikes when Youssef En-Nesyri, star striker, gets injured between 5 and 8 weeks. His current stats sit at 5 Premier League games with 3 goals and 4 assists, proving to be our best player. The last game of February comes with a 4-0 defeat at home to Aston Villa. We get back-to-back losses there with a 3-1 loss to Liverpool. The board also are worried about performances and asked for a board meeting. I said there was a problem with injuries where they said they'll take it into account and they give me a month to improve the situation. A 0-0 draw against Brentford then followed. After the 3-1 loss to Liverpool, we find ourselves picking up only 2 points in 3 games, with a 0-0 draw to Brentford, a 4-0 loss to Arsenal, and a 1-0 draw to West Ham. The game against West Ham was the return of En-Nesyri, although he couldn't find the back of the net. But with 6 games to go, with favourable fixtures against Leeds United, Sunderland, Burnley, Fulham and Brighton, and a tough fixture against Spurs, we look to pick up hopefully a lot of points. With just 6 games left, we still sit in just 17th place, just 1 point above relegation zone. Juan Cuadrado's also picked up a 6 or 7 week injury, which puts him out for pretty much the rest of the season. We finish April off with a 2-1 away victory against Leeds United, conceding a late consolation goal. It then followed by a 2-0 defeat against Tottenham Hotspur at home. This leaves just 4 games remaining, where we currently sit 3 points above the relegation zone. Goals from En-Nesyri, Strand Larsen and a brace from John Arias gets us over the line for a 4-0 victory against Sunderland. After 1-0 down against Brighton in the first half, we pulled 2 goals back in the second half to win 2-1 from En-Nesyri and Jørgen Strand Larsen. After those 2 victories see us on 40 points with just 2 games remaining, seeing us safe from relegation. En-Nesyri seems to score the only goal in what seems to be a back and forth game against Fulham. We finished the season with a 3-3 draw against Burnley in what seems to be a disappointing result after conceding an 85th minute equaliser. After the 3-3 draw against Burnley away, we see ourselves 14th in the Premier League to end the season on 44 points and 38 games, joint on points with Brighton in 13th. Overall, I'd say it's a successful season as we finished 10 points above the relegation zone compared to Wolves, who currently sit on 2 points in just 12 games. If you like this video, please drop a like and subscribe. And if you have any other suggestions on other challenges to do, drop them in the comments below. Or if you'd like to see a season 2 with a rebuild trying to push higher up the table, maybe looking for Cup Glory or European football, please say as well. Ciao, ciao.